have a confusion in Libya because, as we have been witnessing during these last month, what we've seen was that two governments and two parliaments basically were claiming legitimacy. And what complicated things is the fact that the Libyan Supreme Court decided to declare the elections of the 25th of June 2014 as being illegitimate. So this is how I think that the fragmentation that we have in Libya with several centers of powers, including two official governments, but also a lot of militias and military leaders, are just adding to a situation in which what we can see now is that each group, or even some individuals, such as the famous General Khalifa Haftar, are trying to claim legitimacy or to come with more means, and are trying at the end of the day to show that they are the ones that are exerting a strong authority in the areas where they are concentrated. To talk about state failure in Libya, we would need to have a state, basically, and this condition is not guaranteed at all. So I think that the failure will keep on being present when it comes to things as putting, for example, into application the conditions for setting a national dialogue or a national process of reconciliation. But apart from that, I also think that what we've witnessed with the affirmation of some radical groups, especially the Islamic State, and the fact that it has seized the town of Derna, is really not good news for Libya. So on the one hand, it doesn't mean that the Islamic State is necessarily gonna expand. I think that the Islamic State's perspectives, as well as the perspectives of other groups such as Ansar al-Sharia, for example, are still limited when it comes to their popularity on the ground. But on the other hand, for sure, more and more people and individuals will be kind of attracted by this model that is being presented by some radical groups that are trying also to fill the void that we have in Libya. Neighboring countries are really concerned about the situation that is going on in Libya. They consider, for example, that the chaos in general, as well as the actions of radical groups such as Ansar al-Sharia or the Islamic State, could get to their own territory. So this is valid for countries such as Algeria, also Egypt, not to forget about Tunisia also, that is really being harmed by all the traffics that are going on in the western part of Libya. But on the other hand, though the risk will remain present in Libya and the risk of spillover will remain also a reality, I think that all the governments of the region, except from the Sahel, of course, will be able to cope with the phenomenon and will be able to limit the possibility for the radical or armed groups to just try and weaken their own perspectives by bombing them or by making attacks. It is hard to foresee a strong and positive role for the so-called international community when it comes to solving Libya's different prospects. And in the recent past, we've seen that there have been many suggestions for pushing for solutions from several parts of the international community, but they didn't really come with a strong success. So I think that now the best would be to focus on what the UN Special Envoy is trying to do, with bringing all the actors to just deal with each other and agree on some basic points. I think that this is the best way to start shaping a solution for Libya. At the same time, it won't be easy. If we look, for example, at Prime Minister Abdullah Thini, who is considered by the international community to be the legitimate representative of Libya, on the one hand, he agrees with dealing with the UN Special Envoy, but on the other hand, we can see that also after a recent meeting, for example, in the Emirates, he just criticized a bit the UN Special Envoy by saying that what he was doing didn't seem to be very useful. This is why I think we still have a long road ahead in Libya.